Thank you so much for joining our field education team as we talk about field instructor orientation, training, and frequently asked questions. We're going to take some time to talk about student orientation training as well as how you integrate coursework into your field supervision experience. To start out, I'd like to hear from everyone about what successful student orientation training procedures you've seen implemented by field instructors.
Well, I can think of one example within the Child Welfare Education Program. We have a statewide orientation. It's called a volunteer orientation, where students will come for basically a half a day. They get their background checks done. If they're working within DHS, this doesn't apply to them, but it's students who are non-DHS employees. They're oriented to the ins and outs of working as a caseworker in the Department of Human Services Child Welfare. But it also provides them an opportunity to meet with a group of students within a cohort, so that they get to know who their fellow students are. Kind of normalizes the process because it can be a little bit scary entering in child welfare. Do you have some?
It's also important for field instructors to take some time to just introduce the student to other people in the office. Not knowing who to go to in the office if you, say, want to use the lunchroom, or you want to find out where vending machines are. Some of those very practical, basic things that we sometimes forget. It's also helpful in orienting a student to talk a little bit about some of the safety procedures regarding what happens in your placement if you have an issue with a client, if you have an issue outside in the field, what kinds of things you can do to address those. That will help a new student feel a little more comfortable and aware and able to talk with you about those issues as they come up. Many agencies also have opportunities to attend some basic training that some of their staff attend. And if it's at all possible to orient the student early enough that if there are opportunities, they can attend those as well. In child welfare, we do have a basic training for our caseworkers that we refer to as core training. We like to offer that to our students whenever possible. So if you have those kinds of opportunities, consider including your student in those opportunities and along with new employees, if that's at all possible when they start.
It can be very simple, opportunities like unit meetings or branch meetings, just something very simple. Shadowing, of course, it sounds a good tool.
And I think a number of the things that you referenced exist in a document that we have on the Web Center for students and field instructors called Activities for the First 2 Weeks of Field. And it's not a comprehensive list, but it's a pretty significant list of things to focus on with your student to help them learn about the agency, what they're going to be doing, who they're going to be working with, where they'll keep their things, how to use all of the systems, safety. All of those issues are addressed, so you don't have to remember everything, but you can refer to the document, and it's under field resources.
I think also as we maybe move into talking about integrating coursework into your supervision and into your role as a field instructor, we can talk a little bit about building the team. So you talked about how do we make sure that there is some connection to other interns or to other team members through orientation. I think that that's similar when you're integrating coursework too, because there's going to be other people that your intern's working with day to day in a different capacity than you are, whether you have a task supervisor or whether it's just having someone shadowing during that orientation process. Especially the first couple of weeks, it's important to have someone else identify that the student's going to be able to ask questions if you're unavailable for. I think we're curious about hearing how you take that experience educationally and make sure you're kind of integrating that into your supervision weekly. I'm curious what everyone thinks about integrating that into the supervision practice, and are there examples where integration of the coursework has been really successful that you've heard about?
Well, I have a couple things that come to mind. One thing that all students and field instructors will discover is that when it comes time for evaluation, there are a series of rubrics that are related to whichever concentration or year the student is in. And those rubrics are all based on practice behaviors that are being used across programs. So they're being used in the classroom as well as in the field. So that is one way to sort of get an idea of what are the types of things that students are being evaluated on throughout the program. We also ask students to share their syllabi with their field instructors. So we ask you field instructors to ask for those syllabi as well, to get a sense from the beginning about what they're working on each term and how it does or does not dovetail directly with the work they're doing in your agency. It's an opportunity to think about how do you create something for a student if it isn't a naturally occurring opportunity in your agency. So they may have a specific assignment that they have to do, and they come to you and they say, I'm not really sure how to do this. I don't think I'm doing this here in this organization. And you can help them think through and talk about what would it look like here in this specific organization to carry out this assignment. We also have a supervision log. All students have to use a supervision log every single week when they come for supervision, and we ask that supervisors also are documenting supervision. We have a specific question there to key people in to focus on coursework and how are they integrating the theoretical into the practice. So we do try to build in opportunities each week as a reminder that this is really an opportunity for students to integrate what they're learning and actually to then take what they're learning in the field and bring it back to their coursework and inform what's happening in the classroom.
It's interesting too, because I think in a way when you're asking the questions about what's happening in their courses and what assignments they're doing right now, that can inform opportunities for them to do things for your agency. So I can speak when I was a field instructor, there was a research component to one of the classes, and our agency had a really big need to complete some sort of community assessment around knowledge and need. So because of that assignment, I was able to build some time into the internship to help enable the integration of coursework, as well as really help our agency get a picture of what the community was needing from us. So I think there's some really great opportunities to collaborate there. Thank you, everyone.